guys, it's Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, and I share the Bible. That's business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. I am a beauty business owner and entrepreneur. I am a licensed esthetician, a skincare line creator, and I like to talk about things beauty related on Wednesdays, and this subject is definitely one that is a bit controversial, but I felt like I had the duty to really talk about this because I recently did some content discussing plastic surgery and the reasons why I did get some things done and the reasons why I didn't get some things done, or I would never get some things done. So I wanted to talk about this because it was a high profile story. Someone that is well known. I wouldn't say she was a celebrity, and that's no knock to her. I didn't know who she was, and it wasn't someone that I was really familiar with, but because of the subject matter, I just felt compelled to really talk about it, because anytime that we can learn lessons from a tragic situation that could, to be honest with you, have been avoided, then I feel that it is our duty to educate, to speak about these matters so that we can hopefully possibly prevent other people from going down that same road. So what I'm speaking about is this young lady she went by, unfortunately she's no longer here, the name of Jacky Oh. I believe her actual name was Jackie Smith, and she was a personality on the show Wild 'N Out, Nick Cannon's Wild 'N Out, and she was also dating one of the people who was on the show who went by the name of DC Youngfly, and she's also the mother of 3 of his children. So she's had 3 children, and she was going to pursue a procedure, possibly multiple procedures. I don't have any details. That what I've heard is specifically what she was seeking, but she just had a baby last year. So I wanted to talk about some of the things that people really need to be careful of and really pay attention to if you're going to pursue these things. So I'm going to talk about a few of these things in a little bit of detail, hopefully, so that this video will not be very long. But she lost her life. She went to see a plastic surgeon in Miami, and this plastic surgeon, based on information that has been released about him, he's not board certified. And being board certified versus being board eligible are totally different things. Being a board certified plastic surgeon is something that really is important. There are multiple things that these physicians, these plastic surgeons that are board certified have to go under, they have to be upheld to, and the standards that they are having to uphold to be listed as a board certified plastic surgeon is extremely important. And it's not just so that they can charge more money for the procedures that they offer. It's because it is extremely dangerous to have surgery, period. Whether it is something that is elective, or unfortunately it is something that it is a health crisis or health emergency where someone has to go under the knife, so to speak, and have a surgery procedure done. Whenever someone is being put to sleep, there are risks that are involved, and you just cannot take it lightly. But because plastic surgery is something that has blown up over the years and it's become less taboo, where people are more freely open about speaking about some of the things that they've done, whereas many years ago, someone could have noticeably gotten some work done on themselves and they will deny, and say, oh, I didn't get anything done. So it's definitely very different today than it was many years ago. But if you're going to pursue plastic surgery, it's really important to know that the surgeon that you are going to allow, because it's not a right, it really is a privilege for you to go to anyone, invest your money with them because it is an investment, and allow them to work on your body, that you are going to someone that is taking this extremely seriously, and it's not just a chop shop where get them in, get them out, get them in, get them out, and you're just trying to make as much money as possible doing as many procedures as you can, as well as doing everything across the board. So being board certified is extremely important. So people really need to do their research and find out if that plastic surgeon is board certified, and trust and believe that they are. It's not a hard thing to find out. So there's not going to be a whole lot of research that you're going to have to do in order to find out that information. The other thing is you need to seek multiple consultations. When I decided to have procedures done, I had multiple consultations and I didn't rush to get anything done. I honestly was apprehensive about getting the things done that I spoke about getting done. I don't have any regrets about the things that I've done, and if you go through the videos on my channel, I've spoken about the procedures that I have had done, and it wasn't a lot of things, but for me, I see it as a lot because it wasn't just like going to get your teeth cleaned, you know what I mean? So having like I said on my channel, I've had a rhinoplasty done. That was by choice. That was my decision to do, and I don't have any regrets about doing that. As well as I had a breast lift done, an augmentation, and I spoke about that. That wasn't something that I rushed to get done. I waited a long time before I made the decision to actually go forward and do it, and I had multiple consultations done, and every physician that I saw was board certified. I was a legal assistant for 12 years, and I've worked for an attorney that practiced medical malpractice before. So that's also one of the things that also made me extremely apprehensive about just going to anybody. I've seen the horrible pictures of people who have gone under the knife with some of these people, and they have been botched beyond recognition. So I always wanted to make sure I, as much as possible, could avoid a situation like that. And with that being said, sometimes a situation can happen, just, it's not off topic, but I'm just saying, there are some times when someone may be a patient and they're not following the direct instructions, and they may be doing things that they were not supposed to be doing. They're not following the aftercare procedure instructions, and that can cause some things to happen as well. So sometimes there may be issues. It wasn't caused by the plastic surgeon. It may possibly be some things that you were doing or were not doing that could have caused a situation to happen that was not ideal for your healing afterwards, right? But I'm just saying that to say, when it comes to someone going under the knife, this is not a right. It is a privilege for anyone to work on your body. So you should be making sure that you are going for multiple consultations, you're doing your background work and research. There's so many sites online now, especially, where you can go and see reviews for these people and read the reviews carefully, because a lot of times the reviews are extremely telling. You can tell if someone has a majority of good reviews and they may have one or two gripes and it sounds like the person just has a chip on their shoulder, or they may just really be pissed off about something versus they just had a terrible experience. A lot of times when it comes to situations like that, you have to really be considering source, because there are some times when people are just disgruntled and it wasn't because of anything that the plastic surgeon had done that caused them to have what they would call a bad or negative experience with their procedure. So you have to be careful of that when it comes to those online reviews, but definitely seeking those consultations to get the feedback from multiple physicians to see what the recommendations are, and from there making your choice and making your decision on who you are going to allow to work on your body. Because when it comes to this young lady, it seems that she was an online influencer, so to speak, as well. So any plastic surgeon that, I don't know if this is the case, I'm just assuming, but this has happened. If they're offering you a really huge discount or free services in exchange for you promoting to your large following, that doesn't mean that that's a good thing to do. Still do your research, still do your due diligence, still look for other consultations, because just because they're offering you these free services doesn't mean that that is the best recommendation of services for you. It's possible that what she sought may not have been a good fit for her body. She may have said, okay, in exchange, this is what I want to get done. And he's like, okay, that's what we're going to do. Because in her social media post, she put that she was going for a mommy makeover. A mommy makeover usually includes an abdominoplasty, which is something that I did have done, and I spoke about that as well, and breast augmentation, breast lift, and possible a few other little minor things as well. But because of the abdominal area being so stretched out, and sometimes the breast tissue being stretched out, those are the two main areas that will be focused on. So that's what they will call a mommy makeover, because they will do all of them at the same time. Even though that is something that has become very popular, I honestly would not recommend having an abdominoplasty and breast surgery done in the same time frame. I had an abdominoplasty years after I had my breast lift and augmentation done. Both of those were not easy recovery periods. So I couldn't imagine having all of that done in one full swoop and recovering and dealing with all of that all in one time. That is heavy. That is extremely tough. And they found her unresponsive in a hotel room. If you're going to have some major procedures done like that, you probably should be in a hospital for at least a couple of nights. And then after that, maybe in a recovery center, not just them sending you off on your way to go home and heal and come back. So I just feel that she possibly had too much done. And yeah, some people may have done all of that and they have survived and they have done okay. I can guarantee you that it wasn't an easy healing process. I've seen things on TV where people have had the breast done, the abdominoplasty done, and they had the Brazilian butt lift done all in one time. And I just feel that that is absolutely insane. They may just feel like, oh, well, I want to go ahead and get it all done and get it over with at one time. I just don't feel that it's smart. I'm not a medical expert, but just based on my personal experience of what I have gone through, and I spoke about on my channel how I don't ever see myself ever doing a Brazilian butt lift or having anything done with my hind parts. I just spoke about that, and you can watch that video as to my reasons. That alone is a very hard process in healing, and it's one of the most dangerous procedures to do. So if you're going to go to someone that's doing that, you have to make sure you're going to someone that is extremely experienced and knowledgeable in that. And it is alleged that she did have a Brazilian butt lift done also. I don't know, but if she had a mommy makeover like she said in her social media post, and that included a Brazilian butt lift also, I can honestly see why she did not make it. Not being in a hospital, not being in a recovery center, and being in a hotel room, and I don't know who her caregiver was, if the person left, for how long they left her. I'm sorry, that just was not something that I felt was going to bode well for her. And all of those things, as well as this plastic surgeon not being board certified. I'm not saying he didn't have experience doing all of the procedures that he did on her, but he doesn't sound like he was the best suited for the procedures that she did choose to get done with him. And unfortunately, now she's lost her life. So I just found it really ironic that some months ago, I just talked about my experiences with the procedures that I chose to have done and what I would never get done and why, and just trying to share the reasons for why I did that. And then this happened. Unfortunately, she's probably not the only one that's lost her life having a plastic surgery procedure done during the same time. It is something that is happening more than people know, but it's just not being reported as nationally as her situation was, because she was seen as an influencer. She had been on television. It got a lot of recognition, and she's also connected to a celebrity who's connected to Nick Cannon. Actually, they both were, sort of connected to Nick Cannon in a way, because they both, her and her children's father, they both have been on Wild 'N Out. So this is what I want to say when it comes to avoiding the possible deadly tragic mistakes that she has experienced and lost her life. Is you have to do your research. You have to make sure that the surgeon that you choose to allow to work on your body is board certified. Get those different consultations. You have to make sure that the areas that you're seeking to have fixed or possibly just enhanced, because for me, I didn't really go to do anything that I felt like it was going to really enhance me or change me. It was about, in my view, fixing. I felt like my nose was just really too large for my face and my frame, because I am a smaller frame, petite woman, and at this point, I'm 44 years old. So I'm really not going to get much bigger in my lifetime. This is pretty much the size that I'm going to be. So the nose that I inherited from my dad, I felt was just too large for my face, and it didn't fit my face. So I just wanted to downsize it a bit so that it fit my face more. So for me, I saw that as fixing something, not trying to change myself or to be a completely different person. There are a lot of people that never would know that I had this unless I told them. So there's still a lot of people who don't know that I had it done. Not everyone watches my YouTube channel that know me in real life or have met me. For the breast lift and augmentation, for me, again, it was about fixing, not enhancing. I didn't do it to get bigger, larger breasts. My breast size was no bigger than what it normally was. I was still able to fit the bras that I already was wearing. So nothing changed about my bra size. It was about lifting the breast and keeping the breast lifted. We had to do the augmentation, which augment means to enlarge, but technically putting the implants in is really, it was about holding the shape. So it wasn't about making them larger. In actuality, it was downsized because some of the skin got taken away, as well as, I may be sharing a little bit too much, but they even downsized the size of the areolas, area. So I'm just pretty much letting you know, for me, it wasn't about enhancing or enlarging, so to speak, the breast area. And as far as the abdominoplasty goes, or tummy tuck, it was about fixing. It wasn't about enhancing or changing. It was about so that I could be able to wear clothes like this, which before I had that, I never would have been able to do it, because even though I was a smaller frame person, that skin was still there. No matter how much I work out, the skin was never going to go away. And then all of the stretch marks that were there, it just really was really elongated. So it was about fixing, not so much changing. Sometimes people really want to change things. So with the Brazilian butt lift, even though it has the term lift, for many people, it's not just about fixing, it's about changing or really enhancing. So they can go from flat to extremely rounded and just for some people looking really ridiculous. And I just don't think that any plastic surgeon should ever do anything like that to anyone. But we also know that there's some people that have gotten those illegal, what they call butt shots. So a doctor didn't even do that. That's something that they went to someone who's unlicensed to practice just to achieve a look, to change themselves. So you have to make sure that you are going to do the due diligence, have the consultations. You are also, most importantly, you have to make sure that your health is up to par to go under the knife. Because listen, they're going to have you fill out all of this paperwork, sign all of these forms. There are waivers in there. They basically say that your health should be in a place where you can get these procedures done, but they're not responsible for that. So they're not asking you for a doctor's clearance to see if you are okay to go under the knife. They're not asking for a release from your doctor to say, this patient is good to go. As far as we have checked, everything is fine with her heart health, her blood. She doesn't have any issues that would be a contraindication to her having any of these procedures. She has no known allergies to the medications that you use for anesthesia, and just, there's so many different things. They're not going to check to see. All they're going to do is ask you these things, and then you're either going to say yes or no. Most people are going to say no. You have to make sure that your health is up to par before you go underneath the knife for these procedures, because they place that duty on you. They place that burden on you, and honestly, rightfully so, because at the end of it all, it really is your body, it is your health, it is your life, and you're taking your life and you're putting into someone else's hands. But they're there to do a job, a duty. They're there to make a profit. So unfortunately, they really don't care that much about you. I'm not saying that they're there to hurt you or harm you, but they really place that duty on you to care more about yourself than they care about you. So a lot of people never talk about their own health, because most people generally are healthy enough to undergo these procedures, but there are contraindications, and there are certain situations when it comes to someone's health where it may not be beneficial for them to have these procedures done. So most importantly, above everything, you have to make sure that your health is up to par before you decide to go under the knife to do any of these procedures. And along with that, you also have to make sure that you are mentally right, because I spoke about this in some of my other content when it comes to the reasons why I chose to get these things done. I never did anything that I did because I felt the pressure to do it, or I felt like I was going to have more chances of obtaining a certain status or trying to get a person or whatever, right? Like none of that stuff was my reasons for why I chose to do it. Everything that I chose to do, I did it for me. Thankfully, I'm happily married, and my husband never made me feel unpretty or didn't make me feel beautiful, but I did it because I felt like it was something that I wanted to do. He didn't really understand it, but he said, but if it's something that you want to do, then, you know, as long as you're happy, I'm okay with that. Even though he still didn't really understand it, he was happy with how I was before. But again, it was for me. I did it for me. And so if any woman chooses to get any procedure done, they have to make sure that they are mentally right. Some people really should see a therapist, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes a therapist will be able to go deeper than you even realize, to bring up some things that you didn't even really realize was an issue for you, that may have been one of the catalysts for you to decide to get a Brazilian butt lift done, or to get your breasts enlarged, or whatever it is that you may, choose to do. Because think about it, if you see sometimes these people on my 600-pound life, the doctor, he will have these people go and speak to a therapist to find out what it is that's causing them to be the way that they are, to have gotten to the size that they are. A lot of things have to do with our mental health, and we may not even really realize it. And I've heard some stories about this young woman, and the person that she chose to have children with, and he's made some nasty negative comments about her body to her, as well as on other public forums. So it's possible that she felt the pressure from him, which is sad because he wasn't even her husband. I don't even feel like your husband should make you feel like that, let alone a man that you are not married to. I don't care how many kids you have with them. But it's sad that it's possible she may have felt the pressure from him, as well as the industry that she chose to be in, which is the entertainment industry that is all about the outer aesthetic and looking a certain way. And to most people, you look at her and you would see this beautiful young woman, but apparently that just wasn't good enough. And the other thing that you have to really be careful about is you have to give your body time. You cannot rush a thing. I'm not saying that people have to wait as long as I did to go forward with the decision to have procedures done, but I'm glad that I did. My one and only child that I had, our son was out of high school before I made the decision to move forward with having the breast lift and the augmentation done. A few years after that, actually many years after that, I want to say it was 10 years after I had the abdominoplasty done, and I had the rhinoplasty done at the same time that I had my breast done. But I went to someone that was board certified and specialized in the facial aesthetic as well as the breast. So I went ahead and had both of those done at the same time. But I waited many years before I moved forward to get anything like that done. Some of these women these days, they want to get a tummy tuck the day after, or the day if they could, that they had a baby. She didn't, but she just had a baby last year. It possibly was still too soon for her to do that. She's had 3 children. That snapback thing that people talk about a lot when it comes to women having babies is not really real for most women. And I call it invasion of the body snatchers. When you are pregnant, if this child is taking over your body, you really don't have much control over it at all. So to go through that 3 times, she's went through that. She's had 3, given birth to 3 children. I can't imagine what her body was like. I've heard stories from multiple people about how hard their second pregnancy was, or their third pregnancy was. It wasn't nothing like the first time, but I can't imagine what she went through, okay? So you really have to be extremely careful with rushing to move forward with getting procedures done, because it's possible that her body just wasn't ready for everything that she underwent. And I'm assuming this probably wasn't her first time either, because based on the social media posts and just honestly based on what her body was looking like, it didn't look like she was a rookie to having any type of plastic surgery done anyway. So I just feel that she may have taken it too lightly, and that it wasn't like a really big deal. Oh, you know, this is just another day, another procedure, and I'm hooking up with this doctor and he's going to hook me up and I'm going to share the details with you guys, so follow me on this journey. And unfortunately, the journey ended not long after she had the procedure done. So you really have to be careful. So do your due diligence. Make sure you are healthy. You've been cleared by a doctor. Let your doctor know the procedures that you're considering getting done, and make sure you're cleared health-wise to have those things done. Have multiple consultations with multiple plastic surgeons and do your research. Make sure that the surgeons are board certified, and making sure that you're reading up on all of the different reviews that they have, and seeing legitimate before and after pictures of the work that they have done based on the procedures that you want to have done. You need to make sure you are mentally right, so make sure your mind is right. Doesn't matter if you are going to see a therapist. I actually think it is a good idea to see a therapist if you possibly can, to make sure your mind is right and making sure that you are moving forward to get these procedures done for the right reasons. Because the most important reason to do it is because you want to do it for yourself. It should never be about another person or other person's at all. It always should be because it's something that you want to do for yourself. And don't rush. Don't do things in a quick fashion because you are just in a hurry to get it done. And if you're having a lot of different procedures done, I recommend spacing them out and not getting all of them done at the same time. I know that there's a lot of the mommy makeovers where they're doing the abdominoplasty and the breasts at the same time, but I do believe because an abdominoplasty is such an intensive procedure, and the breast can be as well, to have both of those done at the same time, even though they do it a lot at the same time, I would recommend not doing them all at the same time if you possibly can avoid it. There's nothing wrong with spacing these things out and not doing too much at the same time too soon, as well as not doing things too soon. You should not be in a rush to get these different procedures done so quickly. You had your baby and then next month you want to have the procedures done, or even the next day or the next week. Hold off and wait. I don't think there's anything wrong with waiting a few years, honestly, because you still have to raise that baby. You still have to take care of that baby. Your focus really should be on your child at the time and not so much on your body. I know some people have careers where their body may have to look a certain way, they may have to feel a certain way or whatever, but you really have to just consider the fact that this baby has changed your life. And a lot of times that comes with changing your body. And so it just may be a period of time that you're just going to have to just be patient and wait. Try not to focus on those areas too much. Do what you can with what you have until it's ideal to move forward and get those things done. So to be honest with you, if you can wait several years, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, especially when it comes to the possibility of you losing your life. It doesn't happen a lot, but I do believe that it happens too much. And in a lot of situations, I believe that it could have been unavoidable. I mean, look at Kanye West's mom. She actually, I believe she knew that it wasn't recommended for her to get these procedures done that she got done because of her health, but she wanted to look a certain way and she lost her life. And that's not the only person that that's happened to. It's just one example. So guys, I really hope you got something out of this. I didn't want to come on here to bash her for her decisions or anything like that. It's really just for this to be a teachable moment, as well as just expound a bit on what I spoke about before, because I literally just did content talking about plastic surgery procedures and my reasons for why I had some procedures done that I had done some years ago. I just talked about that a few months back, and now the situation happened. So I really just wanted to dive a little bit deeper, share my thoughts and views on this young lady and what she experienced, unfortunately, because now she has 3 little ones that they're no longer going to have their mom anymore. And I don't want anyone to have to experience that if they don't have to. I really believe that that tragic situation was avoidable. So guys, I really hope you got something out of this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything else that you would like me to speak about. If I'm able to, I definitely will do that. So thank you so much for being here. I am Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, and I share the Bible. That's business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. So thank you so much for liking this video and subscribing to the channel, being on this Bible journey with me. So until the next time, I hope and pray you all have an amazingly blessed and beautiful day.